All right, what's going on, guys? It's Ryan here again with TCR Adventure. I wanted to do a video this time and make everything, showing you all the upgrades I've done so far to the NX 500. I'm having a blast on this bike so far. It's been super fun. Unfortunately, though, this week the weather's not been cooperating, so I haven't been able to get out and do any rides. So I'm filming this in my garage right now, which is a little bit of a mess considering we're packing up to get ready and move. But let me go ahead and show you guys, and we'll get into this video here. So here it is, my 2024 NX 500. You'll notice if you saw the last video, you'll notice, there's some things that are the same and there's some things that have been added. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look. We'll start up here. One of the things that I did talk about last time was the auxiliary socket for the 12 volt. So obviously I did that, and if you watch the last video, you'll know it is a little bit of a pain. It's pre-wired, which is nice, but you are going to have to take off pretty much the left side fairing because the wire is actually hidden in between here and this plastic piece on the back side. And the only way to break these two apart is to basically disconnect the whole fairing. So you are gonna have to do that with it. Just a little disclaimer there. And also, some of you are asking how many miles I have on the bike. I have about, I think right around 1,200 now. You can actually see that's from my first oil change. Still, I got to dump the oil there that I just did not too long ago. But yeah, about 1,200 miles on it now. So that auxiliary socket's super handy. I do use it here. You could see I did the quad lock mount. I do have the vibration dampener on it, which is super helpful. For those of you that don't know, if you're using like any kind of phone that has image stabilization, the vibrations can end up killing the image stabilization over time. So having this vibration dampener on it's huge. Basically, it just goes in between the quad lock itself and where the quad lock mount would attach to like the stem mount that I have here, or I'm sorry, the clamp mount. They do make a bunch of different mounts for these. One thing that I saw though that I was kind of wishing that I had done, the phone's great here. You know, I have a little 1.5-foot cable I got on Amazon. It just plugs in here when my phone's sitting there. One thing I do wish I would have done though, or looked into, people have mounted your phone up here, which makes it kind of nice because then you can do a shorter like 1-foot cord, mount your phone right here, have it mounted up here, and then you kind of get that dual screen thing. I will say with it being here though, it doesn't really impede or hinder the view at all of the screen when you're sitting on the bike. You can still see the screen just fine, but I will say that is one thing to keep in mind. Another thing here, since we're looking at the front of the bike, I have done handguards, and I went with the Honda handguards. Again, guys, sorry about the mess in the background. We are in the process of moving, so it is a little bit messy, but I did want to get a video out for you guys. The handguards though, I went with the Honda handguards, and I did go back and forth a little bit on this. So the one thing here, you'll notice they are plastic. They're not going to be as strong as if you're looking at like Bark Busters or something. They are very stable though, however, and I'll show you this side too. They're pretty easy to mount. They do wiggle a little bit, so they have some give. They are pretty good at blocking bugs, rocks. I will say I've had a few rocks already hit that. Again, ignore the dirtiness of the machine right now. It does need a wash, but it's just unfortunately been way too wet outside. So here's the reason I went with these. And if I could do it all over again, I don't know if there was a cheaper option, I may have done that. They do sit up a little high, as you can kind of see right there. They do sit up a little higher. And yes, these 100% are on the right sides. But I will say it's not bad when you're grabbing the clutch or anything. It's still blocking most of it. They aren't as big of a profile, so I did like that. The one reason though I didn't go with the Bark Busters is I grew up, riding dirt bikes and stuff and out in the deserts of Southern California. Bark Busters, one big thing is you have that big metal bar that goes here. One thing that a lot of people out there had with Bark Busters is they cause a lot of broken wrists. And the reason is, if you're riding and you go over the bars and you don't let go of the bar and your hand comes around when you flip, you're gonna snap your wrist backwards on the Bark Buster itself. that metal bar there, because it is reinforced metal. It's not going to go anywhere. So it's basically, you know, if you go over the bars or if anything happens, you get thrown off the bike and you don't let go. Or I've seen it too sometimes where people can't get their hand out and it ends up doing this number and then flipping their wrist and snapping their wrist. So personally, I didn't go with the Bark Busters. I wanted something with a little bit more give. However, it does block the wind very nicely, the bugs, rocks, things of that nature. So overall, I'm pretty happy. I will say the price on these though are a little high for what they are. I believe, and don't quote me, I want to say they're around $100 to $110, and that's USD, United States dollars. I will say if you could find some cheaper, I would go that route, because these are great. You know, they're molded, they're made for the bike and everything, but so is every other, you know, handguard out there. So I would definitely look into that. Another thing you'll see here, I've added the front, I don't know if you want to call it the crash bar. Honda calls it the upper engine fairing guard, I believe, but I did do this. And it does wrap around very nicely. I was looking at doing a few different brands. So this is actual Honda's brand. If you were to go onto Honda accessories and purchase this part, this would be the part that you're getting. Now, I did look at like SW Motec, I think Givi or GIV, however you say that brand, I'm not 100% sure. I do think a few others have that this crash bar setup. However, I will say with shipping and importing and stuff into the States right now and stuff, lead times were very high. I was actually able to get this from my local Honda dealer next day. So it's very good. I will say the directions though, Honda is lacking a little bit on the 2024 NX. You'll have to pull up an older CB500X. I think I went to a 22 or a 23 on Honda's website for the manual. It is slightly different from what I was able to see on the manual, but if you're somewhat mechanically inclined, you should be able to figure it out, no problem. It wasn't bad. It does come with these brackets right here. You'll end up mounting onto here, and you'll end up mounting the crash bar itself right there. Same thing with the other side over here. It does come with a bracket right here, and you'll end up mounting the crash bar onto that bracket. So that's that. I will say that I am looking for some auxiliary lights here. So if any of you guys know, all right guys, sorry, quick little break there. The battery in my GoPro died. But anyway, as I was saying, if any of you guys have any good auxiliary lights to run, please comment them below, because I'm interested in putting some auxiliary lights on this. The headlight in this is great, however, it doesn't quite have enough light, which is something obviously most motorcycles face. The other thing I did, you'll see if you watch the last video, I did do the Honda tank bag. One thing I wanted to go over here that I really, really like about this bag is, one, it's sized appropriately for the bike, but two, it fits really nice. It does have the magnets on the back, just like, you know, any other bike bag would, but it does use the stock mounting bolts that are already in here for the fairings. And it does put this strap on here. You do get a nice little piece of like rubber or foam underneath. I think that's foam. And to help dampen some of the vibrations. And it just fits really nice. It does have the magnets, 2 buckles right there, and it comes right off. I will say the storage on it obviously isn't very big. It's not meant to be a big bag because it's not, you know, it's not a massive touring bike. It is a smaller bike. So the bag does fit the bike really nicely though, and I would highly recommend. It is a little pricey. I think this bag was $75, and I think the mount right here for it's like $40. So it is a little bit on the pricier side, but for what you get, I do think that's a good thing if you do want the, you know, the Honda bag to fit perfectly, because I did buy a bag before this. It didn't quite fit right. So yeah, another thing it is a tank protector there. You can get it. I did the Honda one again because they just had it in stock and I was a little impatient, but you can get cheaper ones to do the same thing. I run the tank bag, you know, just about always. So for me, it's not huge. It does protect it a little bit, but I do really like that. The other thing I did here was a center stand, which I think I mentioned last time. And I really think, I'll back up here a little bit so you guys can see, but I do think that on the bike, the center stand makes a big difference in terms of, you know, doing maintenance on the rear wheels, doing the chain lube, which is a big thing. I can clean and lube the chain a lot easier. Doing the oil changes, it's super nice. It just makes it really nice all the way around. So I would highly recommend the center stand. The center stand bolts in all the existing mounting holes and everything. They're already on the bike. It's very easy overall. The only difficulty you'll have is the biggest issue is the spring right there, the tension. It does take quite a bit of tension in order to put that on, but once you get it on, you're good to go. The only other thing so far that I've done is I did do this Nelson Rig adventure bag, and this thing's pretty awesome. It just goes right into the passenger grab handles. It just loops around, tightens on there. It does have a good amount of storage standard. As you can see there, it does have a little liner up here. This is the waterproof bag, by the way, for the tank bag. But this thing has some straps in here. You know, you can put whatever. It does expand up quite a bit, so you do get a good amount of space in here. I've ridden with this thing for, you know, several hundred miles now, and I've had no issues with it. I think it's a very good bag. Right now, I'm not 100% sure if I want to do the side bags and go like the full touring thing on this bike. So I'm undecided. That's working perfectly. Just a real quick update on a few of the future upgrades that I do plan on doing. My Seat Concepts tall seat is actually on the way here. It should be in next week. Basically, it takes out this dip and just straightens the seat, which if you're a taller guy, you know, will help a little bit more. It's supposed to be a little bit more comfortable with the rider triangle, you know, from the bend in your knees to the reach and everything. It's supposed to be a little bit more comfortable with the taller seat. So I'm really excited for that. I do want to get different foot pegs. I want to go with like the SW Moto or something to that effect. And so I'll probably end up doing that really soon. Again, I do want the auxiliary lights up front. That is a must-have for me. I do a lot of riding in all types of conditions, night riding, day riding, and everything. So this bike does get used, you know, at all different times. And it does get some miles put on it, and of course, when it's not raining and wet. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the bike. I hope you liked the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment or send me a message. Like and subscribe to videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.